What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Greg Plays Games. Here on the channel we talk about Nintendo and other games, primarily Nintendo, but we dabble with other consoles as well. Today I just am going to kind of highlight some of my favorite announcements from the September Nintendo Direct, which in my opinion went kind of dumb in a good way, kind of dumb as a compliment. So these are kind of in chronological order to the announcements. So first up, we had Mario Party Superstars. I think maybe in the predictions I was kind of like meh about this game, but I don't know. I didn't really play the previous Mario Party, and this one just sounds more appealing just because I know that the boards in some of the older games are significantly better. The multiplayer function is going to be there from the jump. There's going to be classic mini games in there too, and I feel like it's good to just kind of have at least one of these Mario Party games on deck to play with friends, and just the fact that you can play online and you'll be able to do online multiplayer makes this game so much more appealing to me. So really excited about Superstars coming out on October 29th. Next up, we have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character announcement. They just kind of announced that there will be another direct for announcing the character. There were some rumors going around that it might be Sora, so keep your eyes peeled. Sorry, spoilers ahead. Next up is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I know this was one of the games that was widely predicted. I also was kind of assuming now was the time for them to announce this too, either this or the Donkey Kong game, but I know there was just a lot more rumors and discussions and more legitimacy to the Kirby game in a way than the Donkey Kong game. And I mean, this trailer was super exciting. Any 3D platforming game Nintendo does is typically pretty solid, so I have a lot of high hopes for this upcoming Kirby game. Definitely going to be a day one purchase for me. It definitely looks like the environments are more constrained, like it's not like completely open world. It looks like there's some exploring involved, but the thing that kind of caught my attention was it doesn't look like there's much camera control, at least just from this trailer. It could just be the trailer, but to me it's kind of looking like you may not really have control over the camera, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, but maybe it has to do with aiming, and yeah, I don't really know about that, but I mean, definitely looks like a high quality game. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, so excited about that one. Actually, one last thing to note about Kirby before moving on to the next announcement was the spring 2022 release date for this game, which you know, is pretty exciting. They said that they were going to focus mainly on the winter releases, and you know, obviously that strayed a little far from the path. I didn't necessarily think that they were going to stick to it, but pretty early on here in the announcement they said that, so kind of interesting and of note. But yeah, I guess we'll definitely hear more information about this game in the future. Okay, so after Kirby, they showed us the Animal Crossing, basically Nintendo Direct trailer, and they revealed that the roost is going to be added to the museum, like a lot of Nintendo dweebs like myself had been mentioning and predicting, and you know, there was all kinds of data mining that alluded to this idea too. So obviously getting a full direct is huge news. Obviously I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan, so excited to hear that. I'm going to make a separate video on that where I go more in depth what I think that direct is going to be about, and also kind of when to expect it. So kind of sucks we're not going to get content till November, but at least we know that it's going to be sizable content just from the fact they announced a direct. But after the Animal Crossing announcement, I don't know that they went straight into Splatoon, but on my list next we have Splatoon 3. They didn't really go into great detail, but they showed off a lot more gameplay, and This time around, seeing the gameplay made me less excited about the game than the initial release trailer. I was kind of getting a different impression with the. I mean, I think that a lot of this is multiplayer footage, and I mean, there's not going to be necessarily anything that different in the multiplayer. It looks like you have a grappling hook arm, which is kind of interesting. I don't really know. Splatoon's a fun game though, so I'm definitely going to be picking this one up regardless, but I didn't really see like huge leaps in what the multiplayer is going to be. It still looked pretty standard. Hopefully they make that just a more seamless experience, because the Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1 multiplayer, there's just so many things about it that made no sense. And this in a lot of ways is Nintendo's first like multiplayer focused game, so you know, there was definitely going to be a learning curve there, especially when multiplayer is never something Nintendo has been great at doing. But there wasn't really too much in this trailer that got me super hyped, more so than I was expecting to see something that really kind of blew me away in the trailer for Splatoon 3, and there really wasn't. I was kind of thinking maybe there'd be an allusion to like an open world single player or something like that, and I didn't really necessarily see anything that alluded to that, like in the first trailer. Of note, there is a different font for the Splatoon 3 logo. I kind of like it more than the Splatoon 1 and 2 logo. It's a little bit more mature, a little bit more minimalistic. I like it. So, excited about Splatoon 3. I can't remember if there is an announcement of when this will be released or if they just kept it 2022, but I'm assuming that we got a while. But lastly, the final announcement that they had was Bayonetta 3. I've never played any of the Bayonetta games. I know a lot of people that have played them really enjoy them. I know this was a highly anticipated game for a lot of people. I'm pretty indifferent towards it. I don't even know that I'm going to be picking this one up. The main reason I have it on here is just because this was the last announcement. I really thought that they were going to hit us with a one more thing and then drop something else after this, and they didn't. They obviously felt like this game was enough to end the show, and I'm sure for a ton of people this was. I have no qualms with the Direct. I thought it was one of Nintendo's better ones, especially in recent times, since we've been fiending for content from Nintendo. So I would love to hear what you guys think about the Direct. What was your favorite announcement? I think mine was probably Kirby, followed by the Animal Crossing Direct announcement, mainly just because I love getting hurt by Animal Crossing. But the Kirby announcement I thought was huge. Actually, one thing I didn't mention was the Nintendo movie cast announcement. If you haven't seen that, I won't spoil it for you. Go and look it up. Really crazy casting. I never would have guessed the people that they casted. I'm kind of going in with an open heart. I think that the cast is talented enough for it to be interesting. Obviously, you need people to use their voice in a movie, so you can't just have Charles Martinet woohooing all over the place in a film. So really interesting casting decisions. Obviously, incredibly high budget movie. So I'll be curious and I'm more cynical of the movie once we see actual footage in a trailer. Until then, I'm going to keep an open mind and be positive towards the movie. I thought some of the casting decisions were really interesting, and there's a lot of talented people on there. So let me know what your guys' favorite announcement was. You know what mine is. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you made it this far. Like the video too, and be on the lookout next week for our Animal Crossing video. Peace.